Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Barbara. Today I'm starting a series on my journey with breast cancer, and today's video might be a little bit longer than the ones that are going to be coming afterwards, only because I'm going to give you a little bit of a background and some of the things that we agreed upon that we thought would be the best way to solve some of the initial problems. So anyway, way back in last year in September, I always do self-check breast examinations. And I have to admit, my doctor, my primary care doctor, was after me to get a mammogram. But I've always done these very extensive breast exams, and I've never found anything. And, I was 70 years old, well, 69 at the time, and I managed all that time to get through. And then I told him, I says, yes, doctor, I will get the mammogram. So ladies, it is important to get your mammograms, and I will tell you, in my case, why it was. So what happened is one night I was sitting here and I was going to do my normal exam, and I found something in my right breast, and it made me sit right up because I know what's normal and what's not normal. And I went again and felt, and I said, yes, there's definitely something there. So I had an appointment with my primary care doctor, I think in 6 or 7 days. So I didn't call ahead and get an appointment sooner, which I should have. Okay. So I went to that appointment, and I told him, and he gave me holy hell. That's all I can say. I have a great primary care doctor. He's absolutely wonderful. We have a good relationship. And in this case, I didn't listen to him because what had worked for me for so many years evidently didn't work for me here. Well, let me tell you, from the time that I found this to the time that I saw him, which I said was a really short time, this small lump that I had grew so huge. It was amazing. And when he finally examined me, he really gave me hell. He yelled at me, swore at me. Why didn't you listen to me? And I said, I know. So right from that moment, he started the ball rolling. And little did I know, in which most of you are not going to know, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, is because when you get what they think is cancer, okay, they didn't know yet for sure, but it sets in motion a whole bunch of things, okay, as far as different kinds of testing. I think one of the first things I got, of course, was a mammogram, and then I got ultrasound of the breast and lymph nodes and everything. Then I had to go and I had to get the results of the mammogram, and the ultrasound of the right breast were really bad. They weren't good. So I knew something was not great because the radiologist actually called into the room I was in and wanted to speak to me. And he said, we're going to make an appointment for you to come in and get what they call a needle biopsy. So, and I kept asking him, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, I mean, this thing wasn't here a week ago and now it's here. He says, yes, I'm sure. Um, so I went along with that. So that was done, like I said, once you get this stuff going, all these people turn around and start getting involved. Um, you're going to get your testing. You're going to have a radiologist. You're going to have a surgeon, a breast surgeon. You're going to have an oncologist that's going to deal with all this stuff. And, um, and it just keeps going on and on. So anyway, I went and I got the needle biopsy, which, by the way, is not really a pleasant experience, but it's something that you can get through. Um, and then after you get the needle biopsy, you have to get another mammogram right there, because when they do this needle biopsy, wherever they find what they think is questionable, they put in clips, okay, so that they know where the cancer is. So I had an appointment to go and see the surgeon, and when I went to see her, she confirmed my worst nightmare was that I had breast cancer. And she didn't go into details on the type of breast cancer that I had or anything. She just said I had breast cancer and that my next step was to see the oncologist. And that's when everything really turns around and really starts to go into motion, because it's just so much has to happen. So, of course, chemotherapy is going to start almost immediately, but before you can get chemotherapy, you have to get a port put in. And in my case, they had set me up with a doctor to put a port in, and unfortunately, the poor doctor got into a bad car accident, and he passed away, and they had to put me with another doctor, which meant I had to travel to go and get the port put in. So, here we are now, mammogram, ultrasound, um, port, okay, needle biopsy, visit with the surgeon, visit with the oncologist. Now, the oncologist, he turns around and tells you what kind of cancer that you have, and how it's going to be treated, pretty much what your chances are. He said I was young. I was 69. I don't think I was really that young. He says, but you have a really good chance. He said a 70% chance of getting through this. And, and the one thing that they keep telling you is that they want you to have a good attitude. Now, in the beginning, when things are going along so fast, you almost don't have time to think about what is happening. But, I don't know how I got through all those days, to be honest with you, because it was just so much. I mean, I would get one thing done, and then it would come along where that one thing I got done would cause me to have another thing done, and then that thing would cause me to get another test done. So it was just a constant going, traveling from here and going to here and doing this and doing that. Now, how do you deal with this? Let me tell you, first of all, the type, let me put my glasses on. I'll tell you what kind of cancer I have. So you know what we're dealing with here. I had a grade 3 invasive ductal carcinoma, lymph node with metastatic breast cancer. My cancer was, let's see here, Yeah, malignant neoplasm of the upper outer quadrant of the white breast. And I was estrogen negative, progesterone negative, but I was HER2 positive. So that's a whole different ball game. All right, so what happens? How do you deal with this? Like I said in the beginning, you're numb, okay? And you're so busy going through all these tests that you don't have time to sit down and really think. Um, but Reed is my partner here, and uh, he was in worse shape than I was as far as emotions, I would say. Um, me, how I dealt with it was there's nothing I can do about it. This is what it is. Let's just go ahead and treat it. But he was, yes, we're going to do that, but what if? What if? What if? And that's the one thing that I have to say to everybody is you don't think about what happened yesterday. You only worry about what's going on today. You don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh, what's going to happen when my hair falls out? What's going to happen when I'm so tired? You can't think about all that stuff. Okay, I know that's hard to say, but that's what you have to do. Now, we had a few talks because back in 2003, I had a big medical scare, and I told Reed, I says, listen, I don't want to tell anybody about what's going on with me. I said, because I don't want a ton of people calling me. In some respects, that is good. In other respects, it's not so good because you don't have people that you can talk to. But from my experience back in 2003, I had a huge tumor in my abdomen, and I didn't know if I was going to make it or whatever. It turned out to be benign, but it was a huge tumor. It looked like I was carrying a set of triplets, and it was a rough go. Okay, but it leaked out that I was sick, and what happened is, like, my family leaked some stuff out. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I was getting a lot of phone calls, all hours of the day and night. People, oh, if there's anything we can do for you. But the problem is, is when people call you, they don't know what to say, and a lot of times they'll turn around and they ask questions. Well, what'd the doctor say? What kind of this? What's going on with this? And a lot of times you don't know all the answers. And, to me, it's like people want to hear the doom and gloom of what's going on with you. One of the worst things that people can say to you, oh, I know what you're going through. Nobody knows what you're going through. Even more in this case with the breast cancer. I mean, if I heard one more person say to me, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. And I would blow up. I would go, do you really? Have you had cancer? Do you know what chemotherapy does to you? Look at my head. I'm bald. I mean, I would get aggravated. So we chose really not to tell anybody because I didn't want to get a lot of phone calls. Most of the people that found out of what was going on, they found out through one person, and they were told that if they wanted to be helpful in my situation, the persons didn't tell them what was wrong with me. They just said that I have a long road ahead of me. And if you want to be helpful, you can contact her once in a while, but don't ask her what's going on, and that's what happened pretty much. So I only had a few people, but I'll tell you, the people that I did have um, helped a real lot in a lot of respects. Like I said, not asking any questions, but I lost a lot of weight. And I had one friend that came through and would bring me lunch a few days a week. I have another friend that would turn around and once in a while um, drop something off to the house. Other than Reed, though, I didn't really have a big support group of where I could turn around and have somebody to talk to. Now, you all know, most of you know that I have this Jewelry Pirate channel, and I started that because of the pandemic and I wasn't going out of the house. And here I was just building this channel up and getting to know a bunch of people and everything. And now, I didn't know what was going to happen. And I had no clue what chemotherapy does to you. And in the beginning, you're asking a lot of questions, and they don't tell you too much. And I used to get really, really frustrated. But I do understand why. Because you can have things happen to you that didn't have happen to a person that's getting the same treatment. Where, in other words, that person have things that you don't have. I had a girlfriend going through this at the same time that I'm going through this. And our, what do you call, side effects were equally as bad, but they were different. And I will go over those in future videos. Just remember that if you're going through something like this, you can feel free to contact me, and I can tell you what helped me. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There was times when you get chemo, it has residual effects. So every time you get it, it builds up into your body. So when you get it the first time, you got these certain side effects. When you get the second treatment, the side effects are a little bit worse. Not anything different usually, but worse, because the residual effect is it's building up into your system. So then in the third time, and I mean, when I got the first 3, that was the time that I got, and I'll talk about this later also, this stuff called the Red Devil. By the time I got to the end of the 3rd treatment, and I would say that I was probably, because that was every 3 weeks at the time, I would say I was probably about a week out from getting my last treatment. I turned around and said, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it, and then I'm like sitting here saying, oh, you're so stupid. You only got 1 more to go for this, and I ended up, saying, hey, the doctor set this out. This is what you got to do. You got through 3, you're going to get through the 4th. So anyway, there's things that you can do to help yourself to get through all these. So anyway, like I said, I didn't really have a big support thing, but that was my choice because I didn't want everybody to know, because I didn't want, you feel bad enough as it is going through this. And the main thing that you got to think about is getting yourself well. And it can be very, very downing. People calling you. I mean, this sounds terrible and that you're ungrateful or whatever, but it's, somebody calls you up. You just want them to say, hey, hi, Barbara, how are we going to paint again? Are we going to do this again? Yeah, pretty soon you're better. You know, we'll go out for a ride. We'll go do some thrifting or whatever. You don't need somebody calling you up and saying, well, how bad is it? What stage are you? What is your prognosis? You don't need that. And a lot of people, that is what they want to know. And it doesn't make any difference. They don't need to know that. Okay? And what it does is it just really, it makes you think worse. So that was the reason why we decided not to turn around and tell a lot of people. There were certain people that had to be told because of certain things that happen in your life that, commitments that you have. So, but they were totally, totally understanding, and didn't tell anybody else, which was really, really wonderful. So anyway, I have this sheet, which I'm going to use a lot to tell you the different kinds of drugs that I got. I shouldn't say had because I'm still going through treatment. I still get infusions once every 3 weeks. Tomorrow I'm going to get a reclass for osteoporosis. So I already got the up on that's probably going to make me sick like I have the flu for, I guess, 5 to 7 days or something. So we'll find out. All right. Can't make be any worse than what I've gone through already. So, but we will go through step by step of all the things that I go through, some of the things I still go through. When you get chemotherapy, other things are going to happen to your body. Not necessarily that they're going to happen to you, but these happen to me. You might get something different. And sometimes they're really hard to deal with. You end up losing a lot of your dignity. And, but you do what you got to do to get through. So that's all I have to say about that. But I will go through here and make sure that once this all starts happening to you, you're going to get assigned a particular doctor most of the time. This doctor is going to turn you over to this doctor, and that doctor is going to turn you over to this doctor. Make sure you do a little research on your doctors. What they're, you want somebody that's going to be compassionate. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. Make sure you check them out. And if you don't like a doctor, there's nothing to say that you can't change. So, your doctor, I happen to be very lucky that my oncologist is a survivor. So he has a lot of, he knows. He's one person that can turn around and tell you, he can put himself in your place and kind of know. Maybe it's not the same, but kind of know what you're going through, which makes a big difference, okay, when you're being treated by somebody that doesn't have that. So don't be afraid to open up your mouth. It's your body. You're the one that's going to be getting the treatments. And if you have a good support group that you're comfortable with, go that route. Like I said, I just didn't want people calling me up. And like I said, the one thing that's really bad is when somebody turns around, oh, I know what you're going through. They don't know what you're going through. If they've never had chemo before, they do not know what you're going through. Okay? So that was my main reason. You can choose to do it differently. Some people, let me turn this down. Some people can deal with all that. I, from my previous experience of going through with this great big growth in my stomach back in 2003, I knew I wasn't going to be able to deal with all those phone calls and people asking me all those questions. So, because first of all, you don't know everything, and then what happens is, oh, did you hear about Barbara? She's got this and she's got that and she's going through this and da. And then by the time then the person will call you, by the time it gets back to you, it's a whole different thing that you're dying and you're not going to make it. You're not going to live. You don't need that. So anyway, that's my one thing today that I want to tell you what I did. And I'm not gonna make these videos very long. Um, I'm gonna tell you, go little by little and explain to you everything that happened to me. Um, if you are going through something the same similar and you're having a hard time dealing with it, feel free to reach out to me. Um, you know, I am going through what you're going through, so I can turn around and maybe help you. Maybe you're having a bad day. Uh, it's always good to have somebody that you can relate to. And cancer is a horrible thing, and the treatment is not real wonderful, but you can get through it. And even if you're at stage 4, which is not, it's treatable, but it's not curable. I have a couple of friends that are living a long time with it. So don't always think all doom and gloom. Okay, so that's my main thing that I wanted to talk about today. And like I said, we will go over my treatment, when my hair fell out, and how that feels, and what I did about that. It's not a pleasant feeling, but you got to just know that it's going to happen and you're going to have to deal with it. So we'll go over all that. And the other thing, too, is wigs. Um, you can go a few different routes. We'll talk about that. This is a wig, and I do have hair, okay? It's all gray now. It used to be red. Now it's all gray. And the problem is that my hair is not growing here in the front. It's growing, but growing very slowly. So here, I may have about an inch, and you can see my scalp. So, I mean, I was hoping, I had this big thing, oh, once my hair comes back, I'm going to be able to take it, and I'll punk it all out. I'll go and get a haircut, cute little pixie things here. Well, I have enough to do that all here, and the back of my neck and everything, but where I would want to spike it out, and there's not enough hair there. So I continue to wear wigs. And there's a kind of a trick to doing wigs, especially when you're bald. So we'll go over some of that stuff to help you. And I don't have a big budget in my life. I get very little Social Security, and I have bills that I have to pay every month. So what I did is I took to buying used wigs, but they're new and in an open box. And it's worked out very well for me, and I've accumulated quite a few wigs, and some people's also given me some too. I put some money up, but you can spend $300-400 on a wig. I mean, and more. I mean, really. So, and as long as it covers my shiny head and doesn't look too bad, I'm fine with that. And it's funny, I have a new one now, but I had this most wonderful home health provider and aide that worked with me, and he was with me right from the beginning when I was diagnosed with the cancer. And I said, oh God, Jason, I said, I'm going to lose my hair. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but he says, oh, pooey, he says, he said, just think about it. He says, you can go out, you can have pink hair one day, maybe you feel like doing blue. Another day you feel normal. He said, you can have a lot of fun with that. Now, I don't have any pink and blue wigs, but I think I have dark brown, I have red brown, I have a lot of reds, and I have blondes. Like this is a blonde thing, but it's rooted, so it's really nice. So I kind of took that in, and I said, he's right. This can be kind of fun in a way, and we'll make it fun. So we'll go over that also in our videos. And probably expect the videos to be between 10 and 15 minutes long. No longer than that. I don't want to bore you with a lot of unnecessary stuff. I just figured this first one that I'm going to do would be good to go into a little bit more detail as far as what's coming up and exactly how this happened to me and what I did in the beginning. So anyway, like I said, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I've been going through this now for over a year, and I still have some time to go. It's getting the infusions are getting near the end, but I still have to go to see the radiologist. I still have to go see my oncologist. I still have to go see my surgeon. Now I'm going to see a surgeon for reconstruction. One of the funny things that happened to me during this whole thing is I don't have a top lip anymore. It just kind of sunk in. I got bottom lip. It's there, but you don't see it. So they're going to look at that. And it's freaking crazy, the shit that happens to you through all this. And we'll go through all that. So anyway, I hope you all have a really wonderful day. I'm hoping that these videos will take and help somebody. And like I said, remember, there's a lot of different kinds of breast cancer. There's a lot of different ways to deal with it. I had a very bad, or have a very bad type of cancer. Treatment was very, very difficult, but I got through it. So if you need help or a shoulder to cry on or understanding, let me know. My address is always, my email address is always down under the video. But for now, I'm going to go. And I want to get up a video for my jewelry people as far as the dichroic glass. I was trying to figure out if I should separate the channels, but I'm going to keep it this way for the time being because I just don't know how to create another channel. And I'm afraid if I try to create another one, I might end up losing the one that I have now because I'm not that internet, YouTube literate. So we're just going to keep it this way for the time being. So anyway, everybody, you have a wonderful day, and I will be in touch. I'm going to try to do one of these every week, okay? And in the meantime, if you think of something that you would like me to address, email me, okay? You take care of yourselves, and I love everybody. And thank you all of my normal, regular people for all the prayers and the support that you guys all gave me. You were all wonderful. And so for what you all did for me, I feel I need to give a lot of this back to other people. Okay? All right, so you take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.